Namaste. Saptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacham Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo
Namo
Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for making time for us on this Sunday. Prabhuji, we are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 3, Chapter 7. Chapter 7 is Further Inquiries by Vidura, and we are on text 19. Sorry, we are on text 20 today. Sorry. Hare Krishna.
Text 20. Text 20?
20, yes.
Yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're continuing with our study of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 7, and today's text is number 20. And a little bit more than halfway through this chapter. So we will read each line 3 times. Well, we'll read the verse 3 times, and then we can take turns reciting it. Durapa yopa tapasa.
Rapaya hi alpa tapassaha.
Seva Vaikuntha Vartmasu.
Seva Vaikuntha Vartmasu.
Yatropa Giyate Nityan.
Yatropa Giyate Nityam.
Deva Devo Janardana.
Devo Devo Janardanam.
Durapa Yalpa Tapasaha.
Durapahi alpa tapassaha.
Seva Vaikuntha Vartmasu.
Seva Vaikuntha Vartmasu.
Yatropa Giyate Nityam.
Yatropa Giyate Nityam.
Deva Devo Janardana.
Deva Devo Janardanam.
Durapa Yalpa Tapasa.
Durapahi alpa tapassa.
Seva Vaikuntha Vartmasu.
Seva Vaikuntha Vartmasu.
Yatropa Giyate Nityam.
Yatropa Giyate Nityam.
Deva Devo Janardana.
Devo Deva Devo Janardana.
Chant, please.
Durapahi alpa tapasa.
Durapa Yalpa Tapasa.
Seva Vaikuntha Vatmasu.
Seva Vaikuntha
Vaikuntha
Vartmasu.
Vartmasu.
Yatropa Giyate Nityam.
Yatropa Giyate Nityam.
Deva Devo Janardana.
Deva Devo Janardana.
Janardana.
Durapa.
Durapa.
Rarely obtainable.
Rarely obtainable.
Rarely obtainable.
He. Certainly.
Certainly.
Alpa Tapasaha.
Alpa tapasaha.
Of one whose austerity is meager.
Of one whose austerity is meek.
Seva.
Seva.
Service.
service,
service,
Vaikuntha,
Vaikuntha,
the
Vaikuntha,
transcendental kingdom of God,
the transcendental kingdom
the
of God,
transcendental kingdom of God,
Vartmasu,
Vartmasu,
on the path of
on the
on the
path
path
of
of
Yatra,
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 wherein
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 Upagiyate
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 is glorified,
is
is
glorified,
glorified,
Nityam,
Nityam,
always,
always,
Deva,
Deva,
of the demigods,
of the demigods,
Deva,
Deva,
the Lord,
the Lord,
Janardana,
Janardana,
the controller of the living entities.
the controller of the living entities.
Translation and purport by ISKCON founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Persons whose austerity is meager can hardly obtain the service of the pure devotees who are progressing on the path back to the kingdom of Godhead, the Vaikunthas. Pure devotees engage 100% in glorifying the Supreme Lord, who is the Lord of the demigods and the controller of all living entities. Would you like to read the purport?
Eastern Prabhu, would you like to read the purport? Or Dennis? Okay, I'll read the purport. The path of liberation, as recommended by all authorities, is to serve the Mahatma Transcendentalists. As far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, the Mahatmas are the pure devotees who are on the path of Vaikuntha, the kingdom of God, and who always chant and hear the glories of the Lord, rather than talk of dry, profitless philosophy. This system of association has been recommended since times immemorial. But in this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, it is especially recommended by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even if one has no assets of favorable austerity, if he nevertheless takes shelter of the Mahatmas who are engaged in chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord, he is sure to make progress on the path back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Trying to find a verse which I think is very appropriate to this. It was spoken by Prahlad Maharaj. Must be in here. Can't find it at the moment. So this verse, the translation, persons whose austerity is meager can hardly obtain the service of the pure devotees. Alpa tapasa, of one whose austerity is meager. Sometimes we hear the Sanskrit alpa medasa, meaning small intelligence. I think that's in the Bhagavad Gita, alpa medasa. Can hardly obtain the service of the pure devotees who are progressing on the path back to the kingdom of God or the Vaikunthas. Pure devotees engage 100% in glorifying the Supreme Lord, who is the Lord of the demigods and the controller of all living entities, Deva Deva Janardana. So Srila Prabhupada begins the path of liberation as recommended by all authority is to serve the Mahatma Transcendentalists. Then at the end, even if one has no assets of favorable austerity, if he nevertheless takes shelter of the Mahatmas who are engaged in chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord, he is sure to make progress on the path back to home, back to Godhead. So something that's catches my attention over the past few years, reminding myself, says, whose austerity is meager can hardly obtain the service of the pure devotees. And at least myself, and I'm sure others, we conceive of service, like in a restaurant, the waiter is bringing the food, taking the order, bringing the food. The nurse is actively serving the patients. In other words, activity of the body. The body is moving, doing things, service, stewardess, or I don't know what men are called, flight attendants, men or female flight attendants, they render service. But I have been reminding myself that to hear about Krishna is to serve him. To hear about Krishna, to hear the pure devotees is to render service. Not that well, I guess I am a little lazy, but not necessarily we have to be busy running around doing things to render service. Sometimes our own passion, my own passionate nature, leans towards service as something active with my body. But we will find throughout the bhakti teachings, Manmana Baba Mad Bhakto. What are the four things that Lord Krishna requests? Always think of me, worship me. Of course, worship is perhaps always a little active with the offering of the incense and the flowers, and dressing the deities. Of course, one can do that in one's mind. Bow down to me. I guess that's activity, moving. And be my devotee within the heart. It's mentioned that, so how can we serve the six Goswamis, the intimate, immediate followers of Lord Chaitanya? How can I serve Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta? So one way, which Srila Prabhupada specifically instructs, is to hear, to read, like Srila Rupa Goswami's Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion. It pleases them. Rupa Goswami, he did not write all this literature. Of course, he wrote without attachment to the results, just to please Krishna, but with the intention that Lord Chaitanya's teachings of Krishna Bhakti would be helpful, that people would hear them and read them. And so any author, it's not necessarily vanity or some kind of pride, but I want people to benefit, hopefully, possibly, by the information that I'm sharing. And a writer becomes, oh, these people are benefiting. It pleases them. Even a teacher, not even, but teachers, of course, when they see students that are really listening and asking questions, getting good grades. 4 years later, they graduate from college, and oh, thank you so much. It really pleases them that my efforts were of some use. So I remind myself, and we can remind each other, that if we sit and hear Srimad Bhagavatam, we are especially, consciously, that I'm going to please my spiritual master. I'm going to please Srila Vyasadeva. By hearing, they become happy. So I remind myself about that. So this verse, wow, so important. The path of liberation, His Divine Grace says, as recommended by all authorities, is to serve the Mahatma Transcendentalists. And we will hear another related verse, which is very similar. As far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, the Mahatmas are the pure devotees who are on the path of Vaikuntha. Mahatmanastamam Partha Daivim Prakritim Ashrita. Mahatmanastamam Partha. O Arjuna, the Mahatmas, Daivim Prakritim Ashrita. It's in the 9th chapter that Lord Krishna explains to Arjuna, isn't it, in the 9th chapter, that there's different types of devotees of God. Some meditate on me as the oneness, and others in different ways. But Mahatmanas Tamamparta, the Mahatmas, Daivim Prakritim Ashritam. They have taken shelter of the divine energy. And Srila Prabhupada specifically speaks about taking shelter of Srimati Radharani, the energy, the personification of Krishna Prema. Daivim Prakritim Ashritam. And they're always engaged in what? Machita, Makata, Prana. Always hearing and chanting about Krishna. We keep hearing this again and again. So this verse, persons whose austerity is meager, that's also in the Bhagavad Gita in the 13th chapter. There's some verses where Lord Krishna is describing himself, describing the super soul, how he is present, antar bahi. He is situated within and without. And Lord Krishna explains that those who practice penance and austerity, they have the opportunity to realize that I'm present in their heart. But then Lord Krishna says that even those who just hear, they're not very well qualified, they don't know very much. But if they faithfully hear from a spiritual master, they also realize me. So that's similar to this, that Srila Prabhupada writes, even if one has no assets of favorable austerity. And we may remember in the prayers of Lord Brahma, I believe prayers of Lord Brahma in the 10th canto, where he says that those who throw away the process of mental speculation and are dedicated to the topics of Krishna Katha and hear submissively, they can conquer Krishna. They do conquer Krishna just by that process of submissively hearing. Oh, this is what God is. Oh, Krishna's like this. Oh, Krishna's like that. Okay. Not like mindless robots, but they have thrown away the process of mental trying to understand God by their own intelligence. They realize, how much can I understand God? I need to hear from someone who is Jnaninas Tattvadarshana, someone who has more realization than me. And so they surrender to that process. And they are able to conquer Krishna by that exact method. Let me see. It won't take very long. The prayers of Lord Brahma. Yes, here it is. Lord Brahma says, wow. So Lord Brahma first says, I can't understand you very much. He says, my dear Lord, neither I nor anyone else can estimate the potency of this transcendental body of yours, which has shown such mercy to me, and which appears just to fulfill the desires of your pure devotees. Although my mind is completely withdrawn from material affairs, I cannot understand your personal form. How then could I possibly understand the happiness you experience within yourself? So Gajendra the elephant also said the same thing, that even those in the modes of sattva guna cannot understand you. How could I, who am still in the modes of passion and ignorance, understand you? So then Lord Brahma says, here it is. Gyane prayasam udapasya namanta eva jivanti san mukaritam babadiya vartam stane stita shutikatam tanuvan manobir ye prayaso jita jito abhyasitais trilokya. Those who, even while remaining situated in their established social positions, throw away the process of speculative knowledge and with their body, words, and mind offer all respects to descriptions of your personality and activities, dedicating their lives to these narrations, which are vibrated by you personally and by your pure devotees, certainly conquer your lordship, although you are otherwise unconquerable by anyone within the three worlds. Wow. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Hridayananda Goswami weaves together the commentary of other acharyas. Here, the word udapasya clearly indicates that one should not even slightly endeavor to understand the absolute truth by the process of mental speculation, for it invariably carries one to an imperfect, impersonal understanding of God. The word jivanti indicates that a devotee who always hears about Lord Krishna will go home back to God, even if he can do nothing except maintain his existence and hear topics concerning you. Doesn't get much easier than that, right? In principle, even if we can't hardly do anything, just work and live and hear about Krishna, we'll go back to God. And this is repeated by Srila Prabhupada in many places in our bhakti, in his bhakti writings. Srila Sanatana Goswami has explained the words Tanuvan Manobi by the body, words, and mind in three ways. In reference to devotees, through their body, words, and mind, they are able to conquer Lord Krishna, thus becoming perfect in Krishna consciousness. They can touch his lotus feet with their hands, call him to come with their word, and attain his direct audience within their mind simply by thinking about him. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has explained the words Tanuvan Manobi in regard to the word Namanta, offering obeisances. He explains that the devotees can take full advantage of the transcendental topics of the Lord by offering all respects to those topics with their body, words, and mind. One should engage his body by touching the ground with his hands and head while offering obeisances to the topics of the Lord. One should engage his words by praising transcendental literatures such as Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, as well as the devotees who are preaching such literatures. And one should engage his mind by feeling great reverence and pleasure while hearing the transcendental topics of the Lord. In this way, a sincere devotee who has acquired even a small amount of transcendental knowledge about Lord Krishna can conquer him and thus go home back to Godhead for eternal life at the Lord's side. So amazing this process, especially in the age of Kali, when Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Upadrata. In the age of Kali, we are, compared to other ages, we are reduced in our mental strength and intelligence and bodily strength and patience and the nature of life. We often have to work so much just to stay alive, to have food and shelter. So it's a difficult time period. And who can practice, who can sit for 8 hours a day for years to practice? Forget that. Forget that. We can hardly find the time to take a week off and sit in Vrindavan. It's just difficult. And so therefore, Harinama, Harinama, Harinama eva kevala. Kalo nasteva, nasteva, nasteva. Lord Krishna is so thoughtful that you guys just hear about me. See if you can do that. And that is our austerity. And it is an austerity sometimes, isn't it? You know, just arranging our time. The main thing, one of the main things is time, just carving out time during the day, during the week to hear about Krishna. And then we're distracted by so many different things sometimes that are happening in our life. And so that's our austerity. We don't have to sit in a ring of fire in the summer. We don't have to sit into ice cold water up to our neck. Our ice cold water is to just tell our mind, quiet, give me a break. An hour and a half, and then we'll do whatever it is that's all these thoughts, then I'll think about them. That's our austerity. And it is. It can be, you know, just to pull the mind back and focus on our japa. And also have, sometimes we have to sacrifice not just time, but, you know, we may want to, we may have ideas that I want to go sleep or I want to go eat or whatever it is. And we have to put that off, sacrifice. And Krishna sees. You know, we shouldn't think that what's the use of my sitting and reading Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita? My mind is just moaning to go do this and do that. It keeps bothering me. It's not really sincere, and I can't wait till I'm going to read for an hour and then I'm going to go do this. It doesn't seem so sincere, and perhaps it's not the way fully awakened. It's not the way fully awakened pure devotees hear about Krishna. But let us not make any mistake. Krishna sees and he appreciates. Absolute Krishna appreciates. It is described that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu practically is so enthusiastic to find the smallest good point. Look at Lord Krishna. Putana came to kill him. And she achieved liberation. Oh, she's acting like my mother. Okay. But he killed her. But so kind. And Kali's serpent. I'm just thinking of different examples. Maybe we can think of different examples. Kali's serpent. Wow. He was polluting that little section of the Jamuna, and birds were dying, and trees, and no one could go there to bathe. And the cowherd boys drank the water and they died. Wow. And finally, at the end, you know, Krishna, he surrendered, and Lord Krishna said, just get out of here, go. You know, he didn't, you know, hurt him, kill him or something, just because he surrendered. He apologized. Oh, I'm just a snake. What do you expect from a snake? But I'm so sorry. and I surrender to you. And Lord Krishna, so kind. Okay, go. So this is Krishna. He's a little different than us. Sometimes some of us can be so quick to criticize and slow to be grateful. You know, we also sometimes towards others and others towards us, a little slow to, but Krishna's not slow. So that's good to keep in mind. Anyone remember some other? There's so many examples of Lord Krishna, his different incarnations showing mercy and kindness. Anyone remember some Leela? So Krishna is kind. And if we just simply do our something.
Yeah, so Govardhan, lifting the Govardhan hill so that everybody could be sheltered.
Repeat that. Repeat
The
what I was saying.
lifting of the Govardhan hill.
Uh-huh. And the kindness, I was just hearing that, Leela, recently. Think about that. I mean, how much does Krishna love his pure devotee? And what did Lord Indra do? He did. I mean, he hurt them. He sent this heavy rain and flooding in the Vrindavan area, and they were so scared. Cows were afraid. And he apologized. Lord Krishna forgave him. Said, don't do that again. But, ordinary human probably would not be so, lock him up, throw him away for 10 years in jail. But Krishna didn't do that. So Krishna's and the pure devotees are transcendental, and they see, we may find fault with ourselves, and there may be, of course, we can improve. But Krishna recognizes and honors and appreciates. I can remember offering arti, Mangal arti, temple deities. At least I was there. and I think I did the right number of, for each deep dupe flower, you have to do so many numeric. I think I did that. but I wasn't thinking, oh, Krishna is so wonderful. I wish this could go on forever. No. But Krishna, it wasn't nothing. I was there. And I did do the activity properly, and Krishna appreciated. All right. At least the guy's here. So it's good to remember that, Krishna is not like others who quick to find fault and not appreciate. No. So I read, we shared this verse of Lord Brahma. Such a wonderful verse. With our body, words, and mind, offer all respects to descriptions of your personality and activities, dedicating their lives to the narrations. So that is this Krishna consciousness movement that His Divine Grace works so hard to manifest, that people can come, people can live, and regularly hear about Krishna, and so dedicated to sharing them with others, trying to give others the opportunity to hear them too. It's exactly this verse manifest. That's amazing. So today's text, persons whose austerity is meager can hardly obtain the service of the pure devotees. And Srila Prabhupada is, he reiterates the importance of serving the Mahatmas. That's where we started. The Mahatmas are the pure devotees who are on the path to Vaikuntha. So I mean wow, that is, where would we be? Where could anyone be on the path of bhakti without those who are ahead of us, way ahead of us, who are awakened in their relationship with Krishna, and we have the opportunity to associate with them? Where would we be? Where would we be? How would we become enthused? I mean, we could read, you can get Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and, perhaps because of our previous life's activities, our devotion is at such a level that we're interested, very interested in field devotion. But what do you do after that? Just you're all alone. More or less, it's impossible. We need the association of devotees, and especially always devotees who are more advanced in ourselves, pure devotees, the spiritual masters, who are in love with Krishna, who really love Krishna. And we can feel it, and we can hear it, and it inspires us, doesn't it? It's, you can read the book, but when you see someone or hear someone who is obviously heartfelt, devoted to Sri Krishna, it gives us confidence, doesn't it? Absolutely. In fact, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asked, a devotee asked, he replied, a devotee said, how can I increase my faith in Krishna? How can I become enthused in devotional service? And Lord Chaitanya's immediate answer was the association of pure devotees. So very, very powerful. And not just for the love part, but in the association of pure devotees, we'll be able to hear the negative effects of not being devoted to Krishna, of being attached to Maya, and how Maya and sense gratification, excessive sense gratification, is so very, very harmful to ourself. So very important. Even us, we come together every day, associate together, and we share together the association of the pure devotees. So we are doing this. We are doing this thing. Now, in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, we hear how Srila Vyasadeva compiled the different parts of the Vedic scripture, which were mostly dedicated to rituals and yajnas, so that one can have things in this world. And he wasn't very happy. And his spiritual master, who remembers who was Srila Vyasadeva's guru?
Narad Muni.
Narad Muni. Lord Krishna, Lord Brahma, Narada Muni. Srila Vyasadeva, Srila Madhvacharya. So he went to his guru, Narada, and said, my dear Guru Maharaj, I've done all this. I don't feel very happy, really. Please help me know why. And this is what we should do, that when if we're practicing the religious principles, the bhakti principles, and something doesn't feel right, then we should ask, what might be wrong? So Narada Muni said that you have spoken so much, all this religious stuff, but you haven't directly glorified Krishna's Leela. you haven't directly glorified Krishna himself. And Srila Vyasadeva took that, and then he was asking Narada Muni that how is it that you are so awakened in Krishna prema? How did that happen? So we can ask such questions. And so the story is that Narada Muni was the son of a maid, I guess, a maid cleaning lady, so to speak, simple woman. And apparently he did not have a father present. And one night she went out to do something. She got bitten by a snake and died. And he was all by himself. And he traveled through forest, countryside. He was already deeply interested in Brahman, Krishna. So he came upon these devotees of Krishna. What is it? He says, O Muni, in the last millennium, I was born as the son of a certain maidservant, engaged in the service of Brahmins. When they were living together during the 4 months of the rainy season, I was engaged in their personal service. See? Service. Although they were impartial, those followers of the Vedanta blessed me with their causeless mercy. As far as I was concerned, I was self-controlled, had no attachment for sports, even though I was a boy. Once only, by their permission, I took the remnants of their food, and by so doing, all my sins were at once eradicated. Thus, being engaged, I became purified in heart, and at that time, the very nature of the transcendentalist became attractive to me. I think that's an important point, that by pleasing these devotees, automatically his ruchi, his taste for Krishna awakened. O Vyasadeva, in that association, and by the mercy of those great Vedantists, I could hear them describe the attractive activities of Lord Krishna. And thus, listening attentively, my taste for hearing of the personality of Godhead increased at every step. O great sage, as soon as I got a taste of the personality of Godhead, my attention to hear of the Lord was unflinching, and as my taste developed, I could realize that it was only in ignorance that I had accepted gross and subtle coverings. Thus, during the 2 seasons, I had the opportunity to hear these great-souled sages constantly chant the unadulterated glories of the Lord Hari as the flow of my devotional service. So he's honoring the remnants of these sages, and he's hearing, and he's doing some chores, some menial service. And by that, the coverings of passion and ignorance were vanished. I was very much attached to those sages, gentle in behavior, and all my sins were eradicated in their service. In my heart, I had strong faith in them. I had controlled my senses, and I was strictly following with my body and mind. As they were leaving, those Bhakti Vedantas, who were very kind to poor, hearted souls, instructed me in the most confidential subject, which is instructed by the personality of Godhead himself. By that confidential knowledge, I could understand clearly Lord Sri Krishna. And by understanding him, one can return to him and personally meet him. O Brahman Vyasadeva, it is decided by the learned that the best remedial measure for removing all troubles and miseries is to dedicate one's activities to the service of the Supreme Personality of God. Or, in other words, as we are hearing Lord Brahma say, not only, but primarily to dedicate ourselves to the service of hearing and sharing Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam in service to our spiritual master. So this is, we have such good, wonderful, strong examples of this process, which is described in today's verse, of associating with pure devotees. And it doesn't matter how advanced we are or not advanced, it doesn't matter. We just have to begin rendering service to the pure devotees by hearing them and offering some service, a service attitude. I mean, we can imagine that young boy, Narada Muni, he did different things, getting the firewood, getting water, whatever, washing, cleaning. So important, this service to the pure devotees. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, we learn and we're reminded that where is that? I think it's in the first chapter. Vasudeva Kataruchi. Right. Here it is. I think this really goes well with what we're hearing. Shusho Shadadanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Shan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punyatirtha Nasevana. Translation: O twice-born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all vice, great service is done, and by such service, one gains affinity, Vasudeva Kataruchi, for hearing the messages of Vasudeva. So we ask ourselves, isn't it? I know I ask myself that how, we hear all these pure devotees and are just so in love with Krishna and they love to hear about, when will I get like that? So here is good advice. Render service to pure devotees and your taste will increase. So how can we do that? I mean, Srila Prabhupada is not present on the planet. Some may say he's not present. Even my own initiating spiritual master, how often do I see him? So how can we get the benefit of it? I mean, this sounds like a good, profitable opportunity. It's like when you hear that in Nairobi they're having 60% sale on something. Oh, let me go. 3 days sale, So this is great discount that if I can somehow please a pure devotee, then, my attraction to Krishna will awaken. So how can we do that? What are some different ways? Is it possible that, how do we do that? I mean, if we're at a distance or we seem like we're at a distance, do we just have to wait till sometime we're near our Guru Maharaj and we can bring some fruit and give it to him, fan with the chamara or whatever, wash his clothes? What do you think?
I think in this day and age, when you don't have your Guru Maharaj near you, or he's left the earth, you can read, because they've written so many books, you can read the literature, you can hear about Krishna. So Vapi and Vani and Vapu. So if he's not physically present, then you can listen to what he had said or follow his instructions.
Follow his advice. Okay. Anyone else? Any ideas? There's Srila Prabhupada. Yeah, yes, please, go.
I was thinking, in this day and age, embrace technology as it comes, in terms of online associations, like, for example, this particular classes, maybe inviting friends to have online japa early in the morning together. Yes, I was thinking cooperating technology in age.
Would someone repeat that? Because I didn't quite hear it, sorry.
I think Dennis's internet might be not proper, but what I heard about what he said was use of technology, like, for example, like we are all discussing on this Zoom class, and also having an online japa session. So invite friends in the morning and chant together. So that could be another way of getting association.
Association. Well, yeah, thank Krishna for the internet. So I use it tremendously. Yes. Yeah, how to get the association of pure devotees and serve them by hearing him. Yes. Hearing them. And how can we render? I suppose it's not possible that we could render some kind of personal service to our guru, to Srila Prabhupada. Is it possible? Other than serving by reading and hearing?
By talking about Krishna to other people. So by giving Krishna Katha to others, so that and improving yourself, like, for example, do the Bhakti Shastri course, and so that you can give Krishna to other people.
Yes. As Lord Chaitanya has instructed, Yare Deki Taraka Krishna Upadesh. Krishna himself has requested that we do what we can to share this Krishna consciousness with others. And what I'm thinking about also, I'm trying to find it. There's a Lord Krishna. He created had that whole city of Dwarka made. And so he was there for so many years. And from Vrindavan came an old friend, Sudama. They had been in the Gurukula together. And so Sudama had been requested by his wife that I know you don't want to ask, but Lord Krishna is very kind, so please go and ask if he can help us financially. So he went to Dwarka. And of course, he was so happy to see his old friend. So they were discussing, and Krishna said, do you remember that our Guru Maharaj, Sandipani Muni, he sent us out to collect firewood. And we went out to get the wood, and it was started raining and storming, huge storm. We couldn't see anything. We went up in a tree and we were hiding, trying to stay warm. Very awful experience. And Then the guru had sent out his disciples after the storm to go and find them. So finally they were found. And Sandipani Muni was so, they still had the firewood. So he was so happy that they got the job done, that despite so much difficulty, they got the firewood. And they had accepted, thunder and lightning. And these are young boys, like a monsoon, and it's cold. They were shivering. And he said, I bless you, that the Vedas, the instructions of the Vedas will always be in your mind, at your fingertips. All the Vedic wisdom will be completely available to you, and your fame will never cease. So there's a verse, two verses that I think of. So first I'm going to, I don't remember it exactly, but it's quoted in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, I believe is spoken by Lord Brahma. Or what was it spoken? I'm not sure. But the verse is, O Lord, great sages and saints will never be able to fully express their indebtedness to you, their gratefulness to you, because you appear in two features. You appear as the guru outside, and you appear as the super soul within to guide us through the Maya, through the challenges of this material world so we can attain you. How priceless to have someone guiding you. All right, left, now go right, straight, 10 kilometers, take a left. Wow. And to go back to Godhead? To stay on the path of bhakti for our whole life? Great sages and saints will never be able to fully express their indebtedness to you. So Lord Krishna said in that narrative that I, as the super soul, am in everyone's heart. And when I see that anyone, brahmachari, grihasta, vanapras, sannyas, anyone, because he's there, when I see that they're sincerely trying to serve their spiritual master, I bless them. And this is part of the answer, that wherever we are, Krishna's with us. And he's taking notes of our efforts to serve our spiritual master, to serve other devotees, and he is reciprocating. He will. He is, he does, and he will. And so we can have the murti or photo of our spiritual master and offer incense, flower, fruit, cook for him. Do something, anything, any little tiny thing to share this Krishna consciousness. Oh, my Guru Maharaj will be happy. I took 5 minutes today to give someone an invitation to the temple and invite them. Krishna sees that. We may think, oh, what is that? Why even bother? No, 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 no. We must do any and everything, little or small or big, to serve our spiritual master, and so many benefits like we're hearing today. This is described in the Nectar Devotion too, that by this service attitude, it will save us. It will save us. Especially if we do something that let me help this preaching effort. Let me serve this mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in any tiny way. or big way. It's described, not that we should take advantage, but it's said that Lord Chaitanya will ignore so many sins and mistakes for the devotee who tries to serve his missionary activity. There is special mercy, without a doubt, absolute. Someone may say, oh, this devotee did this. I don't want to hear it. They went out of their way last week to share invitations to the temple. I don't want to hear about that. I don't care about it. So happy. Not that we should take advantage. But this is actually the fact. And for some of us, I'm one of them, who may need or want some extra mercy. There's no better way. There's a verse by Lord Krishna where he says that even a Malecha or Chandala, if they serve my pure devotee, I will let them touch my lotus feet. So don't miss the 60% sale in Nairobi. Of course, it's much better than that. So we'll stop here, have some discussion.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. I think we've exhausted our time, but if there are any questions or comments, we can open it up. Are there any questions or comments? Yeah. Well, it has been a fantastic session today, and I think it's 99% sale because you don't have to put in a lot of effort just by serving your spiritual master. I need
But I
help
don't
with
feel so much compassion. Excuse me. I don't feel so much compassion, and I'm busy. But Srila Prabhupada would encourage serve those who are engaged or help those who do have compassion. That's your compassion.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Can I request Eastern Prabhu, Hare Krishna? Are you able to end the session for today?
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisance. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful lecture today. It was so nice learning about association and the importance of association, also selfless service that will also boost our spirituality. And also, thank you so much for taking your time to take us through the shloka today. I will invite each and every one of us to unmute and chant one round of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the glorification of His Grace Dina Sharana Das Prabhuji for the wonderful lecture.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
Nanta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai.
Jai.
His Grace Dina Sharana Das Prabhuji ki Jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much
Hare
for blessing me with your association and the opportunity to share this Krishna Katha. Another time, I hope I can come back. I wish everyone well. Be happy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you so
Krishna.
much, Prabhuji. Krishna.